This is Angerbus 27's Top 10 Movies That Suck. Number 10, Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Road Chip. This movie was horrible from day one, and it was so bad, I walked out. I actually turned it off. I wasn't even watching it in theaters. I just turned it off, and it was just horrible. Dave ended up punishing them for sneaking around New Orleans, and I'm like, come on, it's a fun thing. It's a fun thing to hang out in New Orleans, you bastard. Oh yeah, Jason Lee did terrible in that movie, to be honest. Yeah, that's why I have to say. Number 9, Prometheus. This movie almost made me scream like a little girl. Honestly. I'm not kidding around. And ultimately, everyone dies in this movie except 2. Numi Rapace, I can't pronounce her name right. And then there's this robot who would eventually become an antagonist in the sequel. I'm like, why is he becoming an antagonist? Oh yeah, because he's a jerk and all. And when I saw this creature at the very end, just before the end credits, I was like, ah! Just like a little girl. And no, I'm serious. I was screaming like a little girl. Number 8, Darkest Minds. Darkest Minds was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. There was a lot of children being killed. And not only that, the main character's parents stopped loving her. The book series, no wonder the last 2 books didn't get adapted into a film, because the first film just sucked. And oh yeah, there were so many murders. I could not even fathom how disgusting it was. And Alexandra Bracken is probably one of the worst authors in the world. Second behind J.K. Rowling, to be honest. Number 7, Sherlock Gnomes. This movie, I have to say, was a big disaster. I saw this movie and I'm like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? The whole movie was a big flop, and I'm not kidding around. The final battle in Romeo and Juliet was a lot better. Including that particular scene where there was a guy catching a fish and the fish escapes, and it's like, thank you. And then there was a lawnmower that suddenly becomes like aggressive and everything, and then it explodes, and then William Shakespeare's statue is like, told you so. And let me tell you, that was a lot better. This, however, including the final battle for Sherlock Gnomes, was a big disaster. Number 6, Dumb and Dumberer. This prequel was definitely horrible. Many prequels are bad. The sequel and the original were a lot better. This movie was horrible. I'm not kidding around. It was very odd. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. I'm like, I think a sequel would be better. That's what I was thinking when I first saw it. I'm like, finally, a sequel came. When 2014 came around, I'm like, finally, a sequel is coming. And that was a lot better than this one. Number 5, My Brother the Pig. The Coyote Mountain part was scary, but the movie itself was a big disaster. There was no crudility. Actually, it lacked crudility. And, of course, there was a lot of crazy stuff going on in this film. Even though Eva Mendes and Scarlett Johansson did perfect in this movie, I have to say, everyone else, including Judge Reinhold, I can't say his name right, did poorly in this film. And yeah, the Delaware native did awful. That would be Judge Reinhold. Number 4, Cowboys and Aliens. Yeah, cowboy movies and alien movies are okay separately. They're not okay in the same combo. In fact, this was probably one of the worst Harrison Ford movies I've ever seen. Olivia Wilde did okay, but I hate to say this, but this movie scared me to death. And I'm not kidding around. Yeah, it literally scared me to death. And there are probably a lot of people who were scared to death. And I hate to say this, but to be honest, this movie was ranked 44% on Rotten Tomatoes. Even though the audience thought it was okay, critics didn't. Yeah, I agree with the critics. Number 3, The Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas. This movie was so bad, I was like, oh yeah, I'm not going to be watching this. I mean, I saw the movie and I'm like, oh yeah, this was a disaster. I mean, the one with John Goodman was much better than this one. I mean, I have to say, this was just horrible. And to be honest, Christine Johnson is probably one of the worst actresses in history. And I'm not kidding around. Literally. She was one of the worst actresses in history. And if you watch this movie, you think, oh, there is a lot of shit going on. Literally. And I'm right. There is a lot of shit going on in this movie. Good ending, though. But still, it was one of the worst. Number 2, The Love Guru. Yeah, this movie starring Mike Myers, I have to say, was just horrible. And it was so bad that he ended up getting the Worst Actors Award. And I'm not kidding around. There is such a thing as the Worst Actors Award. It's for those who've been in the worst movies of all time. And yeah, it was completely out of context. And Jessica Alba also did horrible. Don't even think about watching it because let me tell you, this movie will literally drive you away and not want to ever see a movie starring Mike Myers again. But let me tell you, Mike Myers is a good actor. But on the other hand, this movie was a pain in the ass. And number 1, music. Yeah, we're talking about a movie created by Sia, also known as Stupid Ignorant Ableist. Good acronym, huh? Well, let me tell you, this movie was horrible from the fact that it was out of context, to the plot, to the fact that there was a lot of ableism, and the music didn't even help either. I mean, it was so bad, I refused to watch it. Even the trailer. I mean, a friend of mine told me it was so bad that she literally didn't even want to watch it. And then I actually saw the trailer, and I felt like I was going to vomit. Literally. I felt like I was going to fucking puke. And at one point, Sia got an angry tweet from an autistic actor, and I sided with him, and Sia fired back at him saying, maybe you're just a bad actor, unquote. What a jerk. More than a jerk. An ableist, to be honest. You know what? I don't want anything to associate with Sia, and I do not want to hear her Chandelier song or any of her music again because of the fact that it represents ableism. And I'm literally serious here. Alrighty, so that was my top 10 movies that suck list. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. You can also check out our Facebook and Twitter pages, which are the links in the description below. And don't forget to check out our other YouTube videos. And thanks for watching, and hope you have a great day.